It's show time! Hey, hello everyone. Welcome for another episode of the Puppet Podcast. I'm Caroline. I'm doing this podcast about puppetry with a lot of passion. And yes, I'm really happy because tonight I get the chance to connect with some fellow Canadian again. So we have Noreen Young. Yes. So yeah, I'm so excited. So before we go into the interview, I want to let you know that you can ask questions. That's the beauty of the live. So you can write below our live and we can bring your questions to the guest and we chat. We are in a spontaneous communication all together. So as you maybe know, we have like plenty of activity. We organize workshop and we have our Patreon here. So you can have a look on that and you can also subscribe to our channel and like our Facebook page. So those are kind of like the fashion of the social media world. So we will be pleased to have you part of our community. So yeah, and please write from where you are watching, like in the chat, like, yeah, I'm watching from Ontario, from US. We have people from all over the world watching the Puppet Podcast. So this is so exciting. This is summertime. Things open up. I don't know if it's the same for each part of the world, but it's great to see some puppetry stuff going in live performance again. Yeah, so now let's go into this wonderful interview. And ladies and gentlemen, drum roll to welcome the wonderful Noreen Young.
Hello. Hi,
Hey.
Caroline.
Hi, Noreen. I put a lot of enthusiastic into that. I'm so happy to have you on the show.
Well, thank you very much. And hello, everybody. I'm Noreen Young, and I'm a puppeteer. So I guess I belong on a show called Puppet Podcast. And thank you for inviting me. That's very nice. And
Yes.
I've been doing puppets for many years, and I still am interested in building and performing and I can answer questions if you want to ask me any questions, and I'll tell you a little bit about my career as a puppeteer.
That's so cool. And yes, I'm so curious myself about your path into puppetry. And yeah, I want to ask you like your crush. I always like in my deep question to bring this crush moment. So do you have an anecdote about a moment where you get this good food for puppetry?
Well, I always was interested in puppetry because it was kind of like to me at the time, theater in miniature, and it isn't. It can be very large, but the wonderful thing about it is that it pulls together so many different arts and different things that you can do yourself on a smaller scale, like writing and art and performance, voice, set design, costume design, music production, and for theater and for television. And for me, television rang a bell, and I really, really connected with it. But I did start out as a young kid being very interested in puppetry, and my family went to a holiday in New York when I was I think I must have been 9 or 10, and we were staying in a hotel, and the hotel had television, and we had not bought a TV yet, so I hadn't seen a lot of TV, and I was really, really fascinated. And while my family went and sightseeing, I stayed in the hotel room and watched programs on TV because I discovered puppets. And there was a show called Kukla, Fran, and Ollie, and Howdy Doody, and different shows that had puppets in them. And it really, I was fascinated. And while we were in the city, my parents, we found a shop that sold puppets, and my mother and father very kindly bought me a marionette, which we took back to Canada, and I learned how to work it, and from there I um, went into other areas, but that's sort of how I got introduced to puppets. And then I went to art college and did drawing and painting, and discovered at the end of my course that while it was a wonderful course to take as an adult, it really wasn't what I wanted. And puppets were kind of not so cool at art school. But when I got back home to Ottawa, where I grew up, um, I went back to my puppet building um, days, and from there on, and I was just in my early 20s, and I started making puppets and banging on all the doors of the TV puppet producers in Ottawa, and just kept banging on their door till they told me that, okay, all right, come on in, you can do something on my show. And so that's sort of how I started.
Wow, this is amazing because
Yeah.
it's pretty rare also that we see women so involved into like the production side, like to produce actually shows. So
Yeah.
you produce a famous show, and we have comment from the audience who watch. So Rocky say like, "This is beyond amazing. I grew up with my favorite show under the umbrella tree." Yeah,
Wow,
which
that's good.
will always be a big part of my life. So I say thank you, Mrs. Young, for your contribution. So yeah,
Well,
thank you, Rocky, for this share.
thank you, Rocky. Yeah,
Yes.
that's great.
So yeah, let me ask you this big question, the deep one of the why. Like, what makes the art of puppetry an art that you cherish? And you maybe answer a bit, but maybe you have more to tell us about this art.
Well, I cherish it, or I'm totally committed to it because I spent pretty much all my adult life dealing with the art of puppetry and creating puppets, building and performing with puppets, and started a puppet festival in the town that I live in now, and I just, you know, it just I was made for it because I really, really enjoy it. And the thing about doing drawing and painting at art school and taking on that life, it seemed to me at the time very lonesome and very alone, and
Yeah.
I liked the idea of working with a team, and particularly on television, and because television actually was, believe it or not, just kind of coming open in the early 60s, and it was easy to get on a show and to try stuff out. And the first show I did, um, a series, was a program called High Diddle Day, which I did in CBOT, which was the CBC Ottawa station. And I started in 1967 and went till 1976, 10 years. And it was like it was my university of the air. And that's where I learned a whole lot about television production and doing puppetry for television. And when I did the festival in my small town that I was telling you about, that was all puppetry for theater. And it's a whole different world. And I had to learn a lot about what made a really good theatrical puppet troupe, and where they were and how to bring them and how to present them and what to give them that made them feel comfortable and appreciated. And so I've had the two television and theater worlds of puppetry, and it's been very interesting. But I think television is really my milieu. So
Yay. Yes, and this is true that it's different, and also now you're organizing festivals of puppetry. So
Yes.
this is amazing.
Well, I did for 12 years. With our puppet festival started it in 2005 and went until 2016, and then we stopped because it was getting scary financially. And but it just in the last 4 months, there's been a big resurgence of interest in my town because we're planning to do a festival in 2022 as a kind of community celebration for getting through COVID. And hopefully we'll be able to do it and we'll all be vaccinated and virus free.
Yeah, virus free with
Yeah.
like and bring puppetry to life.
Yeah.
This is an amazing project. And yes, let me ask you, like in your opinion, the best field of study for someone who want to become a puppeteer. I know you study on TV set, you learn on
Yeah.
while doing the job, but I want to know your advice for people who want
Well,
to learn.
there's two ways of coming at puppetry, and one is as a builder, a puppet builder, and one is as a puppet performer. And there are very few puppeteers that are also puppet builders. And most puppeteers use the puppets that are built by puppet builders. And so to and some people are both. I was both. I was a puppet builder and a puppeteer performing. But to come at it from that angle as a builder, it's really good to go to art school and to get some art training and or take classes or whatever, but to build up your art strength and then to be a performer, a puppet performer, and to enact the characters and to give them life and emotion. It's really good to have taken some performing arts courses or to have gone to a performing arts high school or taken courses, whatever. But it seems to be two ways of coming at puppetry, and I came at it from the art angle, but I really loved drama and performing, and so I was able to also perform as the puppeteer as well. So I had it both ways. It was good, and then I became a producer, a television producer, and that was a whole other thing to learn.
Yeah, yeah, a lot
So
of level also.
yeah, so it's been good. It's been really interesting life, and I did exactly what I wanted to do as a kid, and here I am still doing it, and it's good.
Yeah. Yay. And do you have
Yay!
your yeah, me, I'm so happy to meet great talent and yes. And I want to hear you on your own definition of a puppet. I always ask this question to
Yeah.
everyone and it seems to have some specificity, some nuance between definition of puppet. So what is yours?
Well, I mean, a puppet can be anything. It can be a handkerchief. It can be a very complicated, beautiful, complete figure. Um, but and either way is very effective. I think a puppet is a communication tool, and
Mm,
you are performing or channeling through the puppet as a puppeteer, and you can use the puppet to give out information or to educate kids or to entertain um, people. I mean, for me, puppets are for all ages, and
mm,
everybody's got a child in them, so they can appreciate a puppet and to enjoy the communication with a puppet. And sometimes when you operate a character and you're doing the puppet right next to your head and voicing it, the people won't even look at you. They'll completely focus on the puppeteer or the puppet and
yeah.
get sort of drawn into that if the performer is good. So A puppet can be anything. It can be a creature, it can be a human, it can be a thing. I mean, I did a show for TV Ontario called Read Along, and the host was a boot. Like a, it was and he had a girlfriend who was a, a, a pump, and her name was Pretty.
Yes,
So,
so simple and at the same time is giving everything. That's true. And I love
yeah.
the aspect of communication tools. And
Yeah,
that's so
well, I mean, you're channeling through the puppet, and I found too that when I'm doing that with people right in front of me, and I'm here and the puppet's here, that I have to look at the puppet while I'm talking for him, because if I make eye contact with the person all the time, I mean, I can look at them now and again, but you break that connection
Mhm.
between you and the puppet and the person, and it's kind of freaky at times. And
Yeah.
the same thing when I'm doing puppets, building puppets that are for like a look-alike puppet that's supposed to look like somebody, and I have photographs that I'm using as reference. I'm channeling again, looking at the photos, and then just not trying not to think too much about what I'm doing, and then just sort of modeling the plasticine that I'm working with. And it's hard to explain what happens, but it's sort of creatively mysterious, and because I do a lot of puppets that look like people, and
Yeah.
politicians and a lot of people in my own town.
Yes, and it's funny, it's mysterious. It's like the
Yeah.
creativity connection. And you name a really like smart rules of puppetry. Like, and often we try to explain that to others, but to look at the puppet, give like the channel so the
Hmm.
audience will look at it. So this is a
Yeah.
technical thing, but it's really, really true and powerful.
Yeah. No, puppetry is quite powerful and mysteriously involving. It's strange.
Yeah, I want to hear you, Noreen, about your goals, like as a puppeteer. Like I know, like the future, you have your festival, you are have many stuff going on, but I want to know
Yeah.
your goals for the future, or maybe you have something from the past you want to talk about, something you achieve.
Well, my goal, I guess, is to. Oh, I had it written down and I was going to talk about it.
Yeah, this
Um,
is a tough
well,
question.
it can be a community builder as well, like, and that's been the experience with our puppet festival. It's called Puppets Up, and as I said, it ran from 2005 to 2016, and we had international puppet troops that came, and Canadian and United States puppet troops, and it did an amazing job for the town, and it's a small town. Our population in the whole greater area is only 10,000 people, and the town of Almont, where I live, is 4,500, I think, or maybe it's hit 5,000, I don't know. But it built a wonderful ambience in the town to have puppet troops performing. But then on the street, there was also street entertainment with wandering puppeteers and musicians and singers, and um, but it was all themed towards puppetry,
Yeah,
and it did a lot for the town in terms of just spirit. And it was something that all ages seemed to enjoy. I mean, there were grandparents dancing with their grandchildren on the street and enjoying a show in a tent with their grandchildren or whatever. But I mean, it was like a whole mixture of
yeah.
ages of a family. And it was a wonderful boost for the town and for the 12 years that it ran. And so people got kind of nostalgic for it. and missed it. And that's why in the last little while, people have come forward and offered to help put one together for 2022, and maybe it'll continue on after that, or maybe go for 2 weeks or 2 years, every 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
like the festival in France,
Yeah.
Charleville. It
Yeah.
goes every 2 years, and so we'll see. But
Yeah.
it's exciting, and it's given me a role in my town to sort of work towards helping, create a nice place to live through my puppets.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you name the community aspect, because this is true.
Yeah.
Artists are community builder. Like, the people gather
Yeah.
around their art and they enjoy this, like, present time, this moment that they share through live performance. So this is
Yeah.
so beautiful.
Yeah, it is. And it's wonderful. When we put the call out to see who would like to come forward to help us, we had 72 people offer their time and talent, and that's a lot of people. And that's to work towards the festival weekend. On the festival weekend, have about 200, 300 volunteers, and people are very happy to help out on the weekend.
Yes,
So that's good.
I really look forward to go over there and enjoy this
Yeah.
festival. I want to know, in your perspective, do you feel puppetry is in an ascension right now? Do you feel it's getting more popular?
Well, I mean, it's an ancient art. It's been around
Yeah.
for an awfully long time. It's sort of like storytelling,
Mm-hmm.
and it goes back to the fires and the cavemen. And so it's enjoyed and suffered from ups and downs, and it's had its great moments and its very bad moments. And lately, I think that in the 50s and 60s and 70s, that it was in a heyday. It was doing really, really well, particularly in television, because television was new and puppets were great and they were not very expensive. And the first show that came on the CBC was actually a show called Uncle Chichimus, and John Conway was the puppeteer, but that was the show that opened the CBC when it first started. And then it, it, computer graphics came along and really, really took the wind out of the sails of the puppeteers, and it had its day, and puppeteering sort of went into the background. But I think people got tired of the sort of predictableness of the computer graphic
Mm-hmm.
style, and the puppeteer style was to sort of ad lib in case a piece of scenery fell over or something. You could cope, and something unexpected would happen. And I think they kind of yearned for that sort of thing. So I think that it's in an ascension at the moment, but where it goes after this, I don't know. But I think it's on the rise at the moment for sure. I mean, it's been very hard for theaters during the COVID pandemic, and but uh, maybe 2022 theaters will start up again, and shows will happen, and festivals will happen, and it'll be good.
Yes, yes, we
So,
won. We won that. That's
so it's up
true.
and down.
Yeah, yeah. The world is getting up and down, and the puppetry side. But
Yeah,
it's interesting that you bring this, because we often think in future and like this up and down with CGI and all of those computer, like how it will be in 10 years. Like, we all
yeah.
ask this kind of question.
Yes. Well, you were asking if puppetry has reached its full potential, and
Yeah.
is there still room for improvement? But I mean, puppetry is an art,
Mm-hmm.
and like dance or visual arts or music. And I mean, has dance reached its potential? And, and is there room for improvement in dance? I mean, it will, of course, there will be. And it'll just change. There'll be changes and maybe
Yeah.
going in a different direction for a while. And, but sure, I think it'll last for a long time yet.
Yes, it's a lot of hope because to see like that it can improve is to see that we still have some research, artistic, creative research, and find how we
Yeah,
can change the stuff and create new happening, new shows.
right. Yeah. Well, I mean, the way of staging changes, and
Mhm.
puppeteers, most puppeteers prefer not to have a stage anymore. Like they like to be out open with their puppets and to sort of interact with them and be part of the show and part of the performing. And
Yeah,
so it just changes. It
yeah,
adapts, and
yeah.
yeah.
This is so interesting. Yeah. And we have people watching from Colombia. So, yeah,
Oh,
we have
hello.
great. Hello, Colombia. So cool to have you. And yeah, let me ask you because at the end, I always like to conclude with puppets. And I saw you have a wonderful background. So let me go large, but just to show your background. You have
Yeah.
plenty of character right there.
Well, those are just a few. I have a lot down in my storeroom and hanging on pegs in the wall. And over the years, I've made thousands of puppets because I've done government contracts where groups of students have gone off for the summer and to teach something. Like one year, it was the hazardous products symbols that were taught in parks across Canada, and health and addiction and all kinds of stuff. So, but I do have a puppet.
Oh
Well, I'll show you
yeah,
when you're ready.
yeah. We are ready, but that's good that you work on many teams also, like the teams, like and it's funny how we say from the beginning the puppet is the tool to
Mhm.
communicate on every teams, and it's really interesting. So yeah, if you want to bring a puppet to the
Sure.
camera, I can give you the large screen, and I know people enjoy that if you want to. Oh
Okay.
my god, this is the lady of the show.
This is
Wow.
the character that I did for Under the Umbrella Tree. And this is
Wow.
Gloria the Gopher. And my puppets are hand and rod puppets, so that the hand goes in the head and can work the mouth. And then you have the rods on the arms, which you work like chopsticks almost. And you can do two at the same time or one. And there we
Yeah.
are. And I always like to do the voicing. I'm very fond of voicing. Hello, my name's Gloria. Hi, Caroline. Nice
Hi.
to see you. Yeah,
Yeah.
got my
Gloria.
friends here too behind us. Yeah. I was on a show called Under the Umbrella Tree.
You're beautiful.
Thank you. So,
Wow.
if anybody wants to be at the puppet festival and put on a show, they can send me a tape or something to show me what it's like. Okay?
Yay, a proposal. We can send a proposal to be part of your festival.
Yeah, send it to me. Noreen Young and Gloria the Gopher. That's me.
So cool, Gloria. You are so beautiful. We have both in the
Oh,
frame.
thank you. I have eyelids that go up and down.
Oh, wow.
Whoops. One's going up and down and the other one's staying shut. Oh well. I better get my mechanism fixed. My mech's gone nuts.
Yay, Gloria, you are a celebrity around, and people react on the chat. They say like people see you from Texas.
Texas. Wow.
Yay.
That's a great state of Texas. The great state of Texas, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, we have Peter say
Peter
they
Foisey. Peter. I know Peter. I wanted to say thank you very much to all the people that I met and worked with at CBOT in Ottawa, CBC station in Ottawa, Canada. They're pretty wonderful people. Yep. Thank you. Thank you for everything.
Yay, this is amazing. We have also Bray who say beautiful, congratulations. This is
Thank you. Thank you very much. This has
yeah.
been a very lovely experience, hasn't it? Yes, it
This is amazing. So yeah, Noreen, if people want to reach you and Gloria and want to be part of your festival, where they should go and how they could connect with you.
Well, you can send it to me at my email. Shall I just say what my email is, or would you put it under my picture, or
I
what do you?
can do we can do both. So you can
Okay.
say it and I will write it down.
Okay. Well, my email is nyp.puppets@gmail.com.
So I put it right into the chat also. So you
Yeah.
can see it below. Oh, yeah, and we have it like multiple dung dung on Facebook, on YouTube. So you can send an email of your what you do as a puppeteer, and Noreen will see that. And yes, maybe have
I forgot to mention, my husband just reminded me about a production we did for just adults
oh
two
yeah.
years ago. Yes, an opera. I built 10 puppets, and they mouth synced to the voices of professional opera singers with an
Wow.
orchestra, and it was strictly for adults. It was called Sleeping Rough, which means in Britain people who are homeless, and the main character was a homeless man, and it was very interesting to do and quite different from what I usually do. So I'm quite proud of that, and I'm glad
Yeah.
that he reminded me.
You are open to new challenge
New
all the time.
challenges. I
Opera.
certainly am. Yeah, that's
Yeah, and
how
for sure
puppetry
puppet.
keeps going.
Yeah, and puppet and opera are good medium to work together.
Yes, it was specially written for puppets. Yeah.
So perfect. Noreen, it was a pleasure to chat with you
Well,
and to
thank you.
connect and know more. And yes, for sure, we want to send you some stuff. So we will just put attention on your festival
Yeah,
and direct people. Yeah, you have something going on over there.
that would be great. Thank you very much. Thank you,
Thank
Caroline.
Yeah, thank you so much. So you can stay in the virtual studio, but I will remove you of the screen so
Okay.
you can say the. I will push you out.
Yeah, okay. Ah,
Yeah, yeah. So yeah. Thank you so much, Noreen. Again.
thank you.
Yeah. Choo! Everyone, thank you for watching. So glad to have wonderful puppeteers and just to connect and bring this spotlight to wonderful talent. So everyone, if you want to know more about puppetry, if you are curious and you want some tools, we have workshop on our Patreon. You can also like our channel and share those interview if you like. This one was especially cool, so you can put it on your wall or share it on social media, so our puppetry art will have more eyes on it and we will convert more artists to try this art form. So I will say, like, everyone, thank you for watching again, and yes, we have other episode coming, some special edition. Also, I want to interview people who don't assume the title of puppeteers but practice puppetry. So stay tuned to know more about this special edition of the Puppet Podcast. So I wish you a wonderful evening or morning if you are on the other side of the world. And yes, stay tuned for Puppet Podcast. Bye bye.